Good morning, Southern California. Your hometown station, KHTS. Your host, Fred Arnold, on the Santa Clarita Business and Real Estate Show. Dave, we got a great guest.
Yes, we do.
Dave Control with American Family Funding, my co-host in this segment.
Yes, we are joined by Loriana Moizesch of MBM Attorneys.
Make sure we get that right.
Yes.
Well, it could have been a really long name, right?
Right, yeah. It could have been really, really long.
Right.
She's an estate planner and a small business owner, owns her own business.
That's right.
No. Partner. She's one of the founding partners.
That's a good way to
And
guess.
when it comes to attorneys, they want you to get it right.
Oh my God.
Let's just jump right into it.
Sounds good.
You focus on estate planning.
That's right.
So tell me a little bit about estate planning. What is it exactly? What and why do people need it?
Right. So estate planning is what I like to kind of call it the umbrella term. And then there are documents that fall underneath every person's estate plan. Right. So it's really just a collection of legal documents that outline what happens to your assets when you pass away. It outlines your wishes. You choose a responsible person that you feel would be the best person to make medical decisions on your behalf, financial decisions on your behalf, distribute your assets to the people that you want to receive those assets when you pass away. So it's really just a collection of legal document and paperwork that come into play during times of incapacity and when you pass away.
So it's typically those plans are like your will.
Yes.
Well, name those. So you
All
got a will.
So we got your living trust, your will, your medical directive, and your financial power of attorney.
Right.
Now,
So those are the four primary documents.
And I remember because when we talked last time, you said the two most important ones, because everybody thinks will.
Right.
But it's really the last two, right?
Well, it's the living trust if you want to avoid probate, and
Right.
then the last two, which are the medical directive and financial power of attorney, those are what we call incapacity documents.
Right.
So those come into play when you're alive,
Right.
but if ever you become incapacitated or incompetent, you are actually naming somebody to make medical decisions for you
Right.
and manage your financial
Now,
affairs.
Dave,
Really important.
you really need to do that because your son Logan is older than your daughter, and you definitely want your daughter to do it because remember the time you were difficult on your son when it was pole vaulting?
Yes, I do.
Yes, when you were coaching him?
Yes, I do.
You definitely want to name the right person or the right child to make that decision.
I am meeting with her next Friday. Okay.
You know, the one thing that you mentioned, Loriana, is the trust can make a decision or can act for you when you can't.
Right.
And that's the key to it, isn't it?
It is.
Because who's going to sign off on your mortgage or your sale of your home?
Absolutely.
Who's going to sign for you when you're not there?
Right.
You can't sign for yourself.
Right.
And if you don't have it, it can't, correct? Or
Yes,
nobody else
that's right.
can.
That's right. You can't.
Yeah.
So in California, you have to designate somebody to act on your behalf, or else they're not legally able to sign your name.
What if you had a trust? So a good
Mm-hmm.
question. You have a trust, and you name, let's say you name one person, two people,
Mm-hmm.
and both those people pass
Sure.
before you do. What happens
Sure.
after that?
Well, in our documents, we will always have successor trustees named. So we would recommend at least 3 people to be named, 1 primary and then 2 backups.
Just don't go on the same
So,
airplane flight together.
That's
Exactly.
true, and that's why a lot of
Exactly.
people fly on separate planes when they travel. It's true, but I think the most important thing is to just make sure that you're avoiding probate if your estate is going to hit probate. So a lot of people think that your, only estate planning is really only intended for the wealthy and rich, which is completely false. As long as you have over $150,000 in gross assets, your estate will hit probate.
And gross assets.
Yes.
So if you own a home,
You're
California, yeah.
Yes.
So a lot of
Absolutely.
people think, oh, my house is only worth $500,000, and I have a $400,000 mortgage on it, so it's only worth $100,000. Wrong, right?
And
We take the gross.
one thing I
amount.
understand, Loriana, is
Yeah.
that is when it comes to the cost of the probate,
Yes.
it's based on the gross, not the net.
Right.
So
That's right.
sometimes those fees are dramatically more expensive, and it takes away from the ultimate, in my case, my 4 children.
Correct.
Yes,
Absolutely.
and just to give an idea of how expensive probate is, if your estate is worth, let's say, $500,000, you're paying roughly $25,000 in probate fees.
Yep, where you can pay probably, again, in general,
Right.
$2,500 to $3,500
That's right.
to get a good trust.
Yes.
Exactly.
So
Yes.
which one makes
Yeah.
more sense?
Right.
And then you know that's going to happen. You're going to need it.
Yes.
One of the
It's
most
something-
Yeah.
one of the most important questions that I'd asked the kids' mom, we had a discussion about was, is there anybody in our families we don't want raising our kid?
Right.
And there's always, we always have someone we don't,
Someone,
right?
right.
Absolutely.
So,
Yes.
Yes.
even if your kids are young, having that and having stipulations in there, like if my sister-in-law or brother raised the kids after the last one turns 18, they get the use of the house. Or we put stipulations in line because we knew it would be inconvenience for them to do that.
Right.
There's so many things you can do.
There's so many things, and that's why people, need to know that it's not just about avoiding probate. Even if your estate is worth less than $150,000, you still need these other documents, like your guardianship nominations, like your power of attorney or medical directive. And so guardianship is a big one for parents who have minor kids.
Yeah, no doubt.
I have people coming to me just for that, and they want to make sure that they've named someone to care for their minor kids.
You want to have control. You want to make sure that your wishes between your wife and your family's wishes are followed out the way that you want them to be followed out.
Definitely.
And that's one of the big advantages of doing this.
Right.
And I will tell you, the most important thing is if you're single and you're single with children, if something happens to you, it's a mess and you don't have a trust.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
Very, very, very important. We only have about a minute.
Sure.
What other services do you love to do?
So I mean, most of my practice right now for myself is dedicated toward estate planning. I love helping single individuals, families, business owners plan for the future and just kind of make estate planning not that complicated, because it really isn't. And I know there's a lot of misconceptions about what it means to have an estate plan. So I try to explain it to my clients as easily as possible so that they really feel empowered in walking away and understanding what each document does and how it protects them. My firm also practices in personal injury. I have 2 business partners. So we half of our practice is civil litigation, mostly personal injury related, car accidents, motorcycle accidents, things of that nature, and then estate planning to help individuals with their future planning needs.
Right.
But that's pretty much what we do, and we love having a long-term relationship with all of our clients. So the relationship doesn't end just because I've created the documents for my clients.
Right.
I help them with the funding of their trust, which is really critical. A lot of people don't actually move their assets into their trusts.
Right.
So just having that.
They create this trust, and they forgot to put everything in the trust.
Exactly.
Right. So we help with that entire process, and that's really the most important process, right? Because anybody can create documents.
And if you had a trust, created 5-10 years ago, go see Loriana just to review it.
Yeah,
you're going to charge them per hour, and it's going to get resolved. If it's a good trust, it's a good trust. Here you go.
Right.
But sometimes they're forgetting to put in the assets in. Those that want to reach out to you,
818-536-7436, and then website is mbmattorneys.com, so all our contact information is on there.
Perfect. Thank you for coming in.
Thank you.
Hope you enjoyed this edition of the Santa Clarita Business and Real Estate Show. I'm your host, Fred Arnold, on your hometown station, KHTS.
At Advanced Audiology, we know how important hearing is to you, your loved ones, your work